Good morning, everybody. I'm Don Stewart, and welcome to another edition of Breaking News. Today is Tuesday, the 17th day of June, 2025, and things are moving very quickly in the regional war between Israel and Iran. So let's look at the headlines. First of all, Donald Trump says, I expect a complete surrender from Iran. No talk about a ceasefire, just a complete surrender. This is great news. More great news, the IAEA, that's the International Atomic Energy Association, said nearly all 15,000 Natanz centrifuges are likely destroyed. The IDF, and a third headline, is striking targets across Tehran as Trump warned the Iranians to evacuate the city. And headline number four, that's exactly what they're doing. Tehran is in panic. Roads are jammed as residents have fled overnight. Also, the IDF said it's eliminated Iran's top military commander, who was in office for only a few days. And finally, Trump refuses to sign the G7 statement on Iran. He wants a total end to nuclear enrichment, not the little wimpy thing that they agreed to, the rest of the G7 that said we want strong monitoring. Now that's nonsensical. Anyway, Trump was right. He wouldn't sign it. God bless him for it. All right, something else. In our book, 25 Signs, we're near the end. We have rewritten Appendix 4 because now it's history. Before, what we had the appendix, what would happen if the regional war took place between Iran and Israel? Would it be Ezekiel 38? Would it have anything to do with the last days Bible prophecy? Well, now the war has happened, and so we've rewritten it now to this. Israel's regional war with Iran has nothing to do with Ezekiel 38:39. If this war is not predicted in the Bible, then does it have any meaning for last days Bible prophecy? And as we've said here repeatedly, yes, it does in setting the stage for what's going to happen in the future, but nothing specific that the Bible predicted has been fulfilled in this latest war between Israel and Iran. All right, let's look at the headlines. First from JFeed, Trump says, I expect a complete surrender from Iran. In airborne interview, Trump signals full backing for Israeli strikes and warned Tehran against targeting U.S. forces. U.S. President Donald Trump told CBS correspondent Jennifer Jacobs aboard Air Force One that he is not seeking a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, but rather a real end, defined as Iran's full abandonment of its nuclear ambitions. I never said I'm looking for a ceasefire, Trump clarified, emphasizing that Tehran must completely surrender its nuclear program. He predicted that Israel would not slow down its military offensive. You'll see in the coming days, no one has slowed down so far. He added, the pace of the attacks will not slow down. When asked about calls for evacuations in Tehran, Trump stated that his priority is ensuring people are safe. He also noted that he should be at the White House, not Canada, to stay deeply informed and avoid relying on merely phone briefings. So he wants to be where the action is. Now, asked whether he would dispatch negotiators such as Witkoff or Vice President Vance to meet with Iranian officials, Trump replied, maybe. It depends on what happens when I get back. On potential threats to American interests, Trump issued a clear warning. Tehran knows not to touch our people. If they do, we'll hit them very hard. Pressed on whether he had received military action plans for the chairman of the Joint Chiefs or the Secretary of Defense, Trump declined to answer. I can't tell you that, he said. As for U.S. involvement in a potential strike on Iran's nuclear program, Trump expressed hope that, quote, it'll be wiped out long before that's even necessary. Those are really great words from President Trump and what we wanted to hear. In other words, complete surrender from Iran, nothing less. All right, headline number two is another great one. This is from the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Association. Nearly all 15,000 Natanz centrifuges are likely destroyed. This is a story from the Jewish News Syndicate. And here's how it goes. Power loss from the Israeli strikes probably ruined most centrifuges at Iran's main enrichment site, said agency director Rafael Grossi. All of the 15,000 centrifuges operating at Iran's largest uranium enrichment facility in Natanz were badly damaged or destroyed by last week's Israeli attack, the IAEA said on Monday. Our assessment is that with this sudden loss of external power, in great probability the centrifuges have been severely damaged, if not destroyed altogether, said the IAE director during an interview with the BBC. I think there has been damage inside the underground portion of the facility. Grossi continued, the above-ground enrichment plant at Natanz was destroyed during the attack. He was expanding on an update he gave hours earlier at an exceptional meeting of the agency's 35-nation Board of Governors in Vienna, Austria. His comments add credibility to an earlier IDF confirmation that the facility sustained significant damage. That's wonderful. As part of the strikes, the underground area of the site was damaged. The area contains a multi-story enrichment hall with centrifuges, electrical rooms, and additional supporting infrastructure, the military said. Other critical infrastructure in Iran's nuclear program was also targeted, according to the IDF. Israeli strikes have also put the Isfahan nuclear complex out of commission, according to Reuters. Four buildings, including uranium conversion, were reportedly damaged. On Friday's attack, the Central Chemical Laboratory, a uranium conversion plant, the Tehran reactor fuel manufacturing plant, and the UF4 uranium tetrafluoride to EU, that is for enriching uranium, the metal processing facility, which was under construction, Grossi said Monday. So the bottom line is everything that was there has been rendered inoperative or destroyed or neutralized, just like Israel had planned to do, like they needed to do, and it looks like they got the job done. However, Grossi told the BBC in Isfahan, you have underground space as well, which do not seem to be affected. A senior diplomat told Reuters that the underground spaces are where much of Iran's most highly enriched uranium stock is stored. I'm sure Israel will get to that. The third uranium enrichment facility, this is the big one there at Fordow, remains operational despite reported attacks as it's buried deep inside a mountain near the city of Qom. Israeli forces also struck the Arak heavy water reactor complex, but initial assessments indicate the facility sustained little or no damage, according to satellite imagery and analysis from CNN and the BBC. So what's happened so far? Remember, this has just been a few days. We haven't even been doing this for a week. The damage that's been sustained so far has been tremendous. What Israel has done, and there's more still to do. And it's incredible how fast they're getting it done and how thorough they're doing everything. So God bless them, and we'll just keep praying that this continues. Now, on another headline, this one's very interesting here. The IDF strikes targets across Tehran as Trump warns Iranians to evacuate. This is from the Jerusalem Post. At the same time as explosions were being reported, U.S. President Donald Trump called on Iranian civilians to, quote, immediately evacuate Tehran. The Israeli Air Force on Tuesday night, that would be last night, this is actually, what is Tuesday night? This is Tuesday here, actually. On Tuesday night, struck several military targets in Iran, including surface-to-surface missile storage launchers, surface-to-surface missile storage launchers, and drone storage sites in western Iran. Iranian media reported several explosions and heavy air defense fire in the Iranian capital in the early hours of Tuesday. In other words, they're 10 hours ahead of us here on the Pacific coast in California. So when they talk about the day, obviously begins there before us. So the early hours of Tuesday is still Monday here. Explosions were reported in Tehran's east and southeast. Witnesses told Iranian dissident media site Iran International. Iran International further reported on X, formerly Twitter, that witnesses reported multiple explosions in Ahvaz in Iran's Khuzestan province in southwest Iran. Additionally, according to the Iranian news website, Assyrian air defense systems have been activated at the Iranian nuclear facility in the city of Natanz. Now, something big is happening here, all right? Earlier yesterday, there was an IDF spokesman, Israeli defense spokesman, that it gave a message in Arabic to the people and in Farsi to the people there in Iran that they must leave certain areas. They designated the areas of Iran, certain quadrants there, certain spaces, districts. He said, you got to leave now. Now, something big is happening. Our friend Notter, I asked him about it. He said, yes, something is big in the works. He wouldn't tell me what it is because it must be top secret, so I don't ask any further. He tells me when I'm able to share with others, and obviously he knows what's going on. I don't know. We don't speculate. We'll wait and see. But basically, they were told yesterday. He sent me this video. The guy was speaking in Farsi, and he told the people there, "It's time to evacuate. You got to get out of here." And he specified certain districts of the city of Tehran. That's why everybody's getting out of there. That's why Trump last night said, for them to get out of Dodge, get out. And they're doing it, as we're going to see in our next headline. And whatever reason, there's something big taking place. So we will wait and see. Also, to another story. China yesterday told all its people in Israel to get out immediately. immediately and get out overland, leave the country. And so something is going down. Exactly what it is, we don't know, but we'll keep you informed as we find out. Headline number four, Tehran in panic. Roads jammed as residents flee overnight. Tehran residents clogged the highways in a desperate bid to escape the looming strikes. And pictures of this, long lines of vehicles clogged the roads leading out of Tehran on Monday night as thousands of residents fled the capital with a growing atmosphere of fear and uncertainty amidst the escalating conflict with Israel. Videos circulating widely on social media showed heavy traffic on the highway there, Karaj Shaluz Highway, it's called, a major westbound route out of the city as drivers sat bumper to bumper in an overnight exodus. The mass departure came hours after U.S. President Donald Trump issued a stark warning urging Tehran residents to evacuate, fueling speculation of a large-scale Israeli attack that could be imminent. It is very wise for them to leave, or it seems something huge is about to happen. And there was huge bombardment last night in Tehran by the Israelis, and evidently more to come. And again, as it happens, we'll let you know. All right, now headline number five. The IDF says it eliminated Iran's top military commander, who was in office only a few days. This is from the Jewish News Syndicate. Israel on Tuesday eliminated Iran's most senior military commander, whose predecessor was killed just days ago during the opening strike of Israel's war against Iran, according to the Israeli military. Major General Ali Shadmani, who commanded both the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, and the Iranian army, was killed in a strike on a command center in the heart of Tehran, according to the Israeli Defense Forces statement. He was appointed emergency commander of the Iranian armed forces after his predecessor, Major General Gholam Ali Rashid, was eliminated in the opening strike on Operation Rising Lion on June 13th, just 4 days ago. He hadn't been in the office that long. Before his predecessor's elimination, Shamdani had served as the deputy commander of the Emergency Command Center and head of the Iranian Armed Forces Operations Director. Well, I think we can safely say likely there's not a lot of candidates standing in line waiting to be next for the job because it doesn't seem to have a large future, does it, for the people there in Iran, the military. Remember, if you recall, when Nasrallah, the man who had been running Lebanon, Hezbollah, for about 40 years in Lebanon, was finally eliminated. They had a replacement for him. The guy didn't even last a week before he was taken out. So Israel's very good at this, getting rid of the leadership, the military leadership that's uh, taking charge of the people, and so they have to have someone else move up a notch here and take control. And I'm sure he's not. I'm sure if he tries to buy life insurance, no one's going to sell it to him. Anyway, that's headline number five. The last one now, and this is a great one here also. Trump refused, it shows the wimpiness of these countries. Trump refuses to sign the G7 statement on Iran, wants total end to nuclear enrichment. President Donald Trump rejected the G7's proposed statement on Iran because it called for monitoring of Iran's nuclear activities rather than outright halt to Iran's program of nuclear enrichment. The Trump administration had been demanding that Iran halt all uranium enrichment since enrichment is past a certain level, serves no purpose whatsoever except developing the unique isotope which is necessary for nuclear weapons. Again, the only reason you would develop enriched uranium to past a certain grade is for weapons, and everybody knows this, and that's what they've been doing. Iran has refused to agree, leading to an impasse in nuclear talks and leading Israel to attack last Friday rather than face the prospect of an imminent Iranian nuclear weapon, the Daily Telegraph reported. The Telegraph learned that a draft document was circulated that called for both sides to protect civilians and for tight monitoring of Iran's nuclear facilities. Tight monitoring. How laughable. That was unacceptable to Mr. Trump, who is demanding that Iran is not allowed any uranium enrichment activity, and who has been one of the most outspoken of Israel's supporters. I can confirm he did not sign on to the statement, said a senior U.S. official. As for both sides protecting civilians, Israel has targeted legitimate military and government sites and has given civilians advance warnings to evacuate, while Iran has launched ballistic missiles at civilian population centers with no legitimate military objective. And that's the difference between the two nations. Israel warns them ahead of time if they're going to hit an area where there's civilians, get out of there. They drop leaflets, they have announcements because they don't want to, kill civilians. They're, trying to destroy the various things that Iran has used for their war machine, including some of their leaders. But of course, Iran is totally different. It's sending missiles in the central part of Israel, where it's only populated areas, killing humans that have no direct working with the war effort. And so, what a difference between the two nations here. It shows the evilness of Iran. Now, this was in Alberta, Canada, where this G7 thing took place. And he said Trump told reporters that Iran should talk immediately about compromising on its nuclear program. In other words, they need to quit, they need to completely surrender. So Trump did the right thing. The gutless nations only wanted monitoring of Iran's activities, something that's never actually happened and can never work, seeing that Iran has constantly hid what they were doing. For the last 10 years, they've been hiding what they're doing. They didn't allow the inspectors to come in. There's at least 3 sites that were discovered where there was nuclear material left behind, which Iran never said we're doing work here. And so, bottom line is Trump did the right thing, and God bless him for what he's doing. And he's got something huge in mind. So we're going to wait and see what he has in mind. But to achieve the goal of the complete surrender of Iran, we'll be back later today to tell you the latest. Things are happening there in Israel. And by the way, the bombing there has been very little. Less than something like 20 rockets all yesterday were shot at Israel. So, is it because they're losing their weapons? In other words, is it because they don't have that many more left? People are speculating. They're wondering why not more missiles being shot at Israel? They're shooting less and less now. So we will wait and see. And as always, we'll give you the latest here on breaking news. I'm Don Stewart. Thanks for watching. Until next time, as always, may the Lord richly, richly bless.